back. You don't want it to get to the point where you know it's unsalvageable. Um, Now, and me and you about the same age, so I can remember the time, and this, you know, a lot of women feel like, oh well, Dad used to take care of me. You know, Dad used to take care of my mom, and Granddad used to take care of my grandmama, and all this other stuff. Yeah. I know about all that. Mm-hmm. We live in a whole totally different age. Now, do you still think those gender roles that they had back then apply to today, to the way the world is and society is today? Do you still think those gender roles where the woman is, you know, she's the housewife and she's out, you know, she's making sure the kids are straight, and I'm going out and I'm making sure, you know, the bread is on the table and roof is over the head? Do you still think those gender roles still apply to today?
No, to me, no. It's different. It's a different century. It's everything is way different from back in the 30s and 40s and 50s. Right. Everybody got to work now. I mean,
in order for the way I look at it is in order for a household to even work, function properly.
Yes. I mean, to me, like a guy told me this about 4, 5, 6 years ago. In order for a family to like live decent, the household at least have to make $60,000 a year. So if one person, if I'm the man, if I call myself the man, and I ain't making that much a year, then me and my wife, we got these 2 kids together. We got this house. We got these cars together. So everybody gonna have to pitch in. Right. So yeah, I don't think that should apply for today.
Okay. Well, what you think, and you're gonna be honest with you, you're gonna have a lot of listeners that's gonna disagree with you on that one. Because and the thing is, it's gonna be mostly females that's gonna disagree with you on it because they feel like you're the man, you're supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be the head. How can you call yourself the head of the household when you're trying to go 50-50 with your wife? My argument with that is, and let me rephrase. Let me say, they say if you want to go 50-50, you should get a roommate. Technically, my wife is my roommate because at the end of the day, we just sleeping in the same room. But my thing is, like you said, the society today is not geared to how it was back then, where the man could go and work that one factory job and come in and all bills were paid. You really didn't have, the only thing you really had to worry about for real, we didn't have to worry about no cable and all that good stuff. We had no TVs like that. And if we did, is that one TV in the living room and it had an antenna on it. We didn't have to worry about all the rest of this stuff. But the men, they either walked to work, they rode their bus, or they carpool. Yeah. So you didn't have to worry about if you was paying a car note, paying insurance, and all that. You didn't have to worry about. You really didn't have to worry about if the kid, daycare for the kids because the woman was at home. Mm-hmm. She made sure that the kids were fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mm-hmm. Made sure you were fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to worry about your clothes. You didn't have to worry about a lot of things. But true enough, what I wanted, I would love for my woman to do that. But I would want for my woman to have her own and be her own individual. Yeah. I would want for the way that the economy is set up now is the cost of living has rose. Mm-hmm. The cost of food is keep rising. Mm-hmm. And the living wage hasn't went up in what they started. $7.25 was back in 2006. It's 2019. It's still $7.25. Yeah. But it's crazy how back in 1940 the minimum wage was $1.25. We've only went up $6. $6 in 40, maybe 50 some years? That's crazy. Yeah. And that's my argument. We don't live back then. The economy is nowhere geared to, and and the thing is, the economy keeps climbing. So we can't put those gender specific roles on a man or a woman. In order for a couple to live comfortably, it needs two incomes.
Yeah.
Regardless if the man works two jobs or the man and the wife, they work one job apiece. But any woman and this is just me being me, any woman that sits on her behind all day long, true enough, she's at home. Even if she don't have kids, you sitting at home, you ain't doing nothing. Why? I shouldn't feel like I don't have a problem with being that breadwinner. I don't have a problem going out and making sure that my family is straight. But why as a married couple would you want the entire burden on me? Mm-hmm. Now if I'm out here making $60,000, $75,000, $100,000 a year, by all means, do what you gotta do. But even then, why would you want to do that? Because I know too many women that don't even want to sit at home, regardless of if you want them to or not.
Yeah, I mean, you got some women like that.
So, my next question would be, and let me know if I'm getting too personal, if there was anything you could go back and change, whether it be good or bad, if you could go back and change anything from the beginning until now, what would it be?
It would have to be my conversations with my marriage. Like, the things that did happen. I mean, I felt like that I could have avoided it by doing what was necessary to. But I mean, once you get to that point where in your head it's like you ain't gotta deal with this. You know what I'm saying, you ain't gotta sit here and listen to this. If I did not have that mentality, you know what I mean, most of our arguments probably would never happen. So if I would have to say anything, probably would have to say arguments.
Okay. Now, I know we talked about this earlier about the whole love language thing, and you didn't seem to know what we were talking about. And I think, and this is, like I said, this is just me in things that I've learned from the mistakes that I made when I was married. Because I was married probably 2 years less than y'all. I was married for 6, but we was together for 8 or whatever. But learning your partner's love language is something that I feel that every couple that's gonna be married, or every couple that's married, should actually learn, especially when it comes down to communicating with your spouse. Because just because you explain it a way that you feel like you understand it doesn't necessarily mean that your spouse understands it. And that goes back to, like I said, men and women communicate totally different. Us men, like I said, we communicate on a more, we communicate more with facts and with live, with statistics and stuff. That's the way we communicate. Mm-hmm. Women, they communicate more with feelings and emotions. Mm-hmm. And a lot of men, to be honest with you, a lot of men are taught at a very young age that don't show no type of emotion. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. I know when I was growing up, I was always told, I'll stop all that damn crying, being a little punk, this, that, and the third. But the thing is, you're telling him to suppress those feelings that he feels. And we wonder why we have so many men out here that won't show no type of emotion towards a woman, or period. Because they don't know how, because they've been told so long to shut the hell up. You don't show no emotion. You a man, you a boy. You don't do that. All that crying and all that crap you doing is for girls. That's what we were told. So what with what you know now, what advice would you give to a newly or a man that's looking to get married or is a newly married man? What advice would you give him?
The best advice that I could give a newly married couple would be to make sure that their conversation don't go left. Just make sure that don't nobody yell or take stuff out of context. Just make sure that both peoples are on the right page. Or it makes the most important thing is make sure that both people understand each other, because that would be the biggest downfall in a marriage as far as arguing, and because both people got to understand each other. I mean, some half the time I struggle with that now. And I've been married to my wife for 8 years, and I still struggle with it.
Wow. I knew I told you I wasn't gonna let you say nothing. I knew I wasn't gonna. I knew I told you I wasn't gonna let you say nothing. But Bri, if there was, can you come a little closer so we can hear you?
I got it closer.
Yeah, come a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer. You play too much.
No.
If there was anything that you could change from what you know now about your husband from back then, what would it be?
I would have respected him more. I would have respected the man that he is instead of bringing all my past into my marriage. Mm-hmm. I would have seen him for who he was and not saying, okay, you're just going to be like all these other guys. So what I would have changed, I would have respected my husband more, and I would have took time out to understand him and communicated with him better.
Okay. Same question I asked her with this whole gender role thing. When it comes down to these gender roles, and from 2019 to back then, do you think those same roles still apply?
No, they don't. A woman is supposed to be the man's partner, right? Like, you're supposed to help him. You're supposed to be his helpmate. It's in the Bible that way, right?
Right.
Okay. So we can't be like we were, like, we can't be like our grandparents and grandma stay at home and she cooking and granddaddy out here, working, and grandma sitting at the house making sure everything is all together. No. Because I work full-time, he works full-time. We have 2 kids that we have to provide for. And in today's society, you cannot just sit at home unless basically he was a millionaire. And even then, I am one of those women who cannot just sit still. Like I tell him all the time, I stayed at home for, almost 2 years? I stayed at home for almost 2 years to take care of our daughter. Not because I wanted to be there, it's because it was difficult for me to get a job and then childcare and everything else like that. Like, financially, we weren't there to be like, hey, let me pay this person. But I work full time. I help my husband, and I'm constantly saying, hey, are we good? I'm asking because I can help you more. I can do more. He can say that he's not in that mindset of like we're 50-50. He tries to take on everything, but he's not ashamed to say, hey, I need help. Right. And I am not ashamed to help my man, because that's the one thing. When I married him, I am supposed to help him and be there for him. So, yeah, I don't think that we're in that anymore. And women got to get out of that. Like, if something happened to your man tomorrow, how are you going to provide? Like, really, like, just ask yourself.
And you know what? And that's where a lot of women, a lot of times you